my great-great-grandkids and beyond.
So, are we recording now?
Yeah, I'm going to punch in the date and time here. Let's see. The date is 12/25/89. Time is 8:37. Is that right? 8:37. Okay, you're on.
Okay.
This is, I guess, the first. You were going to tell a story. Chris wiping out the truck reminded you of something you did once.
Chris's stupid move with the truck reminded me of a couple of stupid moves of my own. And I can't remember which one came first, but I think this one came first. Your mother and I had, in fact I'm sure it was, had an old 1950 Buick.
Show Spencer!
I saw
In
it.
fact, that we had gotten as a wedding present from my folks. And we went up a canyon. I can't remember which canyon it is now. But and it was a regular paved road, but we decided we'd get off the main drag, so we did. And we started going up the side of a hill.
Okay.
And we got up, kept going and going and going. The road ran out on us, and we kind of kept going, I guess. And it got to be so steep that I was afraid that the car was going to roll. So I had your mother get out of the... Hi, Lo.
Grandpa's telling us a story.
Don't pick your nose. Do you want to just sit on Grandpa's lap while Grandpa tells a story?
Grandpa's telling a story.
You listen to Grandpa's story.
So anyway,
Who's making his finger out of his nose?
so I had your mother get out of the car, and very gingerly, because I was afraid if
I got dotted in medicine.
it started to roll that both of us would be hurt. So I figured, well, she'd get out of the car first, and I'd see if I could back it around. I managed to back it down the hill far enough so that it didn't roll over, but it was getting real close to rolling. The car was getting closer.
So you're on a slope sideways?
Yeah, we're going up the hill kind of sideways, and of course, and I was on the driver's side, and which was on, of course, on the left, which was down on the downhill side of the car, and she was right. We were afraid that as soon as she released her body weight, the car would go anyway.
It was that bad.
It was that steep, but it managed to hold, and I managed to get it backed around, so the car didn't get wrecked. But then when Chris was born, it was like a couple of weeks after. It might have not even have been that long. I think it was a couple of weeks after we brought him home from the hospital. We decided we'd, no, it was later than that, I guess, because we were going up in the Uintas. But at any rate, he was just a little baby. And we had this old, well, it wasn't all that old, it was an MG Magneto. It was a little four-door car. It looked like a miniature Rolls Royce. Really a cute little car. But it was an MG sedan.
I'm tired.
And so we went way up in the Uintas in this car. And Chris was in the back in a bassinet. And we went way back up in the high country on some old dirt roads. And got way up in there, and we decided that instead of coming back the way we'd come, which was kind of a long way around, we decided we'd see if we could take a shortcut. So we started going down this road, and the road got worse and worse and worse. Pretty soon it wasn't any more than just kind of a path. And it became rockier and rockier and rockier. And as we went down the hill, occasionally would come to a fence, and of course we'd have to stop and open the gate to the fence and then go drive through. And there was a whole series of these things. Well, we encountered a couple of dry creek beds along the way, which were also real rocky, and we hit bottom on a couple of them, and all of a sudden we realized that we didn't have any transmission anymore. And the reason that we didn't have any transmission is that we had broken we'd hit a rock and broken the master cylinder, which operated the clutch. And because it was a hydraulic clutch, and so the master cylinder operated that, and we still had some brake. It wasn't very good brakes, and we had no transmissions. We couldn't shift gears, and so we would continue going down this. We couldn't turn around and go back. We could only go forward. We didn't know where we were going, and we'd encounter these fences with these gates. And so what we would do is your mother would jump out of the car and run down and open up the gate while I kept the car kind of going and low, because we were scared to death if we let it die the car wouldn't start again. So she'd run. Then after I got through, she would close the gate and run and hop back in the car, and we just kept going down the hill. We kept doing that sort of thing.
Hurry, Pat!
Until we got down to the bottom of the hill, and then we encountered a better road, but we also found out that we were running out of oil. And so we found out that in addition to breaking our master cylinder, we'd also punctured a hole in our oil pan. And so we're running out of oil. We didn't have any spare oil. We didn't carry any spare oil with us. And so we encountered this farmhouse finally down at the bottom of the hill. And the road was pretty good by then. We drove up to this farmhouse, and I was hoping I could get this guy to give me some oil. And no one was home. And I thought, well, we can't go anywhere because we don't have oil. We got to get out of here. It's getting dark. And so I went into his barn, and you wouldn't believe it, if that guy had one case of oil, of automobile oil, he had 100 cases of car oil. Well, we borrowed, if you want to call it that, about 5 cans of oil, and I left him some money with a note indicating that we didn't have any oil, and so we took some oil, and if that wasn't right, why give us a call, and left our phone number. And that got us to Camas, got us back to Camas, just barely, and then we pulled into that little gas station right on the corner of the drive that goes up the Mirror Lake Road and the main drag of Camas there, that Amoco station. He put it up on the rack, and he couldn't do anything for our transmission, and he really couldn't do anything to repair the oil pan either, because he said, I can't weld it because if I do, I'll start a fire. So he tried to plug it as best he could. I had tried to plug it with a stick, the hole in the oil pan with a stick, to slow the flow down a little bit. But that didn't help much. Of course, it's under hydraulic pressure, you know. And so anyway,
Shot a stick across the...
we managed to, what we'd do is I would start the car in like third gear and slowly build up speed, and that was okay until we had to stop for, you know, a stoplight or a stop sign or something. And then we'd have to, you know, stop, and then I'd have to slowly creep because we had no acceleration, because you could get it into a gear without the clutch, but once you got it in that gear, you couldn't shift out of that gear. And so, you know, if you're going real slowly, it'd kill on you because you couldn't get it into neutral. So we'd go to a stop sign or something, it would die, and then we'd start over again. It would go until we came to the next stop sign. It would die again.
Now, where's this you'd been?
We'd been up. It was where was I'd gone. I wanted to go fishing, and there was a place that a kid who's since died, his name is Fred Matthews, and I used to go fishing. It was Blacksmith Fork, not Black's Fork, but Blacksmith's Fork. And so I took your mother up there, and we were way up in the boonies with this infant.
Now, which direction is it from Camas? You said you came into Camas.
Well, it's toward Evanston.
Like over towards the Mirror Lake area.
Yeah, yeah. We went up the Mirror Lake Road all the way to Mirror Lake, and then beyond, and then this road took off. I can't recall just where it took off. I think it took off west out of there. But at any rate, I probably could find it in a map, a big map somewhere. Never did catch any fish. Didn't catch any fish with friend Fred Matthews and I went there either. Those lousy fishing. Pretty stream, but no fish in it.
Talking about accidents and things, what, isn't there a story about, I have an interest in this, having wrecked the snowmobile by myself, but wasn't there a time when you wiped out the ski on the old Polaris?
Oh yeah, that was, we were coming up the cabin, and I came up above the cabin here, and I was trying to get, in those days, we didn't have so many trees. And so you could go around the back side of the cabin, come down by the horseshoe pits, and come around the cabin this way. We used to park the cabin over on the east side of the, park the snowmobile over on the east side of the cabin all the time. So that's what I was trying to do. Well, I got over there, and that snowmobile didn't have a good, well, it didn't have essentially any brakes. And the steering was lousy in the thing. And so I came around the corner, and there was a little tree. That was about maybe a 2-inch diameter tree. And my skis went between the tree. And I snapped a ski. And so then we had no steering because the one ski wouldn't work. So I figured out the way to handle this would be that I could I could take a rope and strap it to the front end of the two skis, and then when I turned the one ski, it would turn the other ski. And that worked.
Now Chris
One
says
direction.
that he figured that scheme out.
You figured that out?
You were so upset you couldn't even think.
That's probably true.
I figured it out. And we used a dog chain on either the front or the back, and we used a rope on the other part.
Oh, that's right, I remember.
But when was it you wrecked the ski? I mean, is this immediately prior to doing that? Because it seemed to me that you had broken a ski years before that happened. Maybe not broken the steering on the ski, but maybe bottomed out or something, and actually.
Dell.
What did I do?
When I was little, at Mountain Dell golf course, didn't you break a ski or something there?
Oh, I don't remember.
Yeah,
Break
to me
the
we
ski
did.
itself.
this is almost before my memory.
Was it just
Yeah.
bent? Is that what it did? Snapped it? Needed
I
to be
think we
welded
wrecked
or something?
something one time at Mountain Dell golf course when we were doing it.
I don't
This when
remember.
I was
You know,
really
you're
little.
talking about driving up canyon roads. Was that first story the same story as when you drive along a cliff ledge and you had to go fast, otherwise you thought you were going to fall off the cliff?
No, that was when Joy and I were
You need a drink?
over visiting Jim and Leslie one time. And what we did there, we were in Holly, and which was our 75 Toyota. And we were way up high on this mountain road. We'd gone down to Colorado Springs, and we were on our way back. And we decided we'd do a little exploring. We were looking for some land to buy over there. And we were kind of looking around at some stuff. So we took this mountain road, and it said, you know, don't go up this impassable or something like that. But we went anyway. We thought, well, we'll go as far as we can. So we went back up the mountain, and this mountain goes eventually toward Pikes Peak. So we're going back up this mountain, and the road, it was kind of an okay road. It wasn't real bad, except that this one place, it was in the spring of the year, and a wash had kind of taken the roadbed away. And so we kind of stopped and looked at it to see what we could do, because we couldn't back up very well. It was pretty narrow, and it was real steep. You're looking down 500 or 600 feet, I suppose. It wasn't a cliff, but it was, if the car ever started rolling, it'd roll 500 feet. And so it was, this washed out place was kind of in a curve, and I figured, well, if I drove fast enough, the centrifugal force of turning on that curve would keep me from rolling. And so I gunned it, and it worked. So here we are. Instead of
If it hadn't worked, we wouldn't be
we
here.
wouldn't be here. So we've had a few adventures with
It was
It was an
not
inside
something I
curve
would
then, right?
recommend that any of you try.
Yeah, it was an inside
Next
curve.
time, pack back
An
down.
outside curve would have helped you go right up the edge.
Yeah, it was an inside curve. Yeah. So we've decided we don't do those kinds of things anymore. We also don't stay up. We also don't stay up at the cabin until it snows to the point where we can't drive out. We also.
He also didn't wait and listen to that it would melt by tomorrow, the next day in the afternoon.
Yep. Pretty dumb
The
stuff.
way the snow is coming down.
So what else do you want to
know it
talk
would
about?
melt the next
Well-
day.
We're kind of on this theme of dumb stories, but earlier we recorded stuff more of your childhood and early years with your dad. But any dumb stories any dumb things your dad ever did?
Yeah, there was a really dumb thing he did. Yep, it was deer hunting. What happened was, we went down to southern Utah and we're hunting the Blue Mountains. And at that time, the Blue Mountains had a lot of deer. And so we went, and there was my dad and me and a couple of friends of mine that he had taken. And I think Bill was there too. But at any rate, we were all down there hunting. And I don't remember just why this happened the way it did, but Dad decided that we wouldn't tag our deer right away. And so we didn't.
That sounds stupid.
And we hung them up in the camp, and we took off and went somewhere, and when we got back, somebody had told us that the game warden had been there and was kind of concerned. And we weren't smart enough to tag him right then. And pretty soon here comes the game warden back, and he nailed us for not having tagged our deer. And I don't remember how many deer there were, but Dad had to go down. Well, we all went down, but Dad said, well, he'd pay for the fine. And Dad had to go down and appear before the Justice of the Peace. And he knew all these people down there. He was raised down there, you know, and he knew all these guys. In fact, he knew the game warden. And the Justice of the Peace, I think, fined him a couple of $100 for not having tagged the deer. So it was kind of an expensive hunting trip, and you know, a couple $100 30 years ago was a lot of money.
It's pretty big fun.
A lot of money. But at any rate, he said, well, it was my fault. I should have told you to tag him. But that was kind of a stupid thing. What really made Dad angry was the fact that the game warden knew him and didn't look the other way. Frankly, the guy had pulled Dad aside and he said, you know, if I hadn't had so-and-so with me, because the the game warden had some other guy riding with him. He said, if I'd known who it was and if I hadn't had this guy with me, you'd never received a ticket. But unfortunately, that isn't the way it worked. So that's why we got used to tagging deer as soon as we shot them.
Wasn't there a story about your dad getting stuck up here in the snow? Kind of reminiscent of Chris's story, and having a problem down by the bridge?
Yeah. When my dad and Bud Lott were working up here, they were doing the insides of the cabin. The shell had been built, but during that winter they were putting the insides out. And they would come up every weekend and work all weekend. Start Friday, work as long as they could. Friday, work all day Saturday, all day Sunday, and then come home Sunday night. And apparently this one time when it was, you know, late fall, kind of like when Chris was up here, I guess, Dad came, it snowed a little bit. In fact, I think it snowed quite a bit. I think it snowed about a foot. And they got down the hill and they were doing fine until they got to the bridge. And then, I don't know because I wasn't there, but apparently the, like the rear end of the car was slipping off the bridge and heading for the drink, heading for the stream. And so they had to get out, and they were afraid they were going to lose the car in the drink, and they had to jack it back up onto the road, and they jacked a little bit and let it sit, and then they jack a little bit more and bring it down, then jack a little bit more, and they finally got it back on track. But by then, by the time they got home, it was like 2 in the morning, something like that, and my mother was frantic. She thought sure something dreadful had happened. And I don't think my dad ever called to tell her what was going on. Of course, he couldn't call from up here. There were no phones at the time.
Where would have been the nearest phone?
And the nearest phone would have been Oakley, I suppose.
And
There
from
may not have
it's-
even been a phone then.
From there, it's only 45 minutes. You might as well just drive back.
Well, except that would have been a 45 minutes less worry on my mother's part.
Cooled down for 45 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, calm down for 45
Awkward
minutes.
manner. Thinking about it.
Yeah, so that was an adventure. What other dumb things have we done?
Probably been plenty around.
I'll have to show you when our
Yeah.
truck went off the road. We were lucky.
I don't think in terms of cars,
What about your
we've
mother?
done too many dumb things.
What about your mom? Any stories about her? I don't think you've told me stories about her.
Any dumb stories about her?
Or just any stories.
Well, I'm not sure I have any stories. I think I told you the one about me and the pole vaulting deal, so she was always there.
I don't know that you did.
The one where I was in state championship.
I don't think so.
Mom used to come to all the swimming meets that I participated in, and she didn't go to all of the track meets, but she went to all of the big track meets. And the one, well, there are a couple of incidences. I went down to a track meet. It was the BYU Invitational. It was a track meet for all high school kids. So we went down there, and in fact, we had that same Buick automobile. And I'd hurt my shoulder. One of the problems I had in pole vaulting was I kept pulling my shoulder, and I kept pulling my left leg too. But at any rate, I had pulled my shoulder, and I think this must have been when I was a junior. But at any rate, we got a flat tire right at the point of the mountain, right where you drop down into American Fork. Just south of Sandy there a little bit. And we got a flat tire, and she couldn't change it, so I had to get out and change it. And my shoulder was so sore I could hardly jack the car up, and then I could hardly get the tire off of the car. But I managed to do that. She didn't know how I could do that. But anyway, she was always there, always taking me to swimming meets, track meets and stuff. And at the state championship, which was held in Salt Lake City in the University of Utah stadium there. I had, my greatest competition was a kid named Melvin Ward. He was a buddy of mine in high school. And he was my greatest competition. We were pole vaulting for the state championship. And I had cleared 12 feet, which was the first time I'd ever cleared it. And he had missed twice, and I was sitting over in the stands with Mom, and I said, you know, Mom, I almost hope he makes it. She says, oh, don't say that. She wanted to make sure her son won the state championship. He missed. He did miss it, so. But she was kind of protective of her family that way.
So you took the state championship.
Yeah.
Why did you hope he made it?
Well, we were friends.
Yeah, but still.
What was the height? Did you mention that?
12 feet.
12 feet.
Yeah, I tried for the state record, which at that time was like 12.6 1/4 or something like that, and I tried 12.6 or 12.7. I don't remember now, but I missed it. Almost hit it one time, but I missed it. But at that time we were pole vaulting with Swedish steel poles. They had aluminum poles at the time, but they were real heavy. They weren't very good, and they had a little Swedish steel pole that we used, and it was, I think, about 16 feet long.
Bye-bye.
Merry Christmas.
Merry
Yeah,
Christmas.
thanks
I'm glad
for
you could come up. I'm sorry you have to go back
Thanks
down.
for the antennae. What?
Where's the key?
Oh, I don't know. It's over there.
Christmas present.
You probably noticed that the key switch does not,
Doesn't work.
it doesn't work.
I noticed that.
Oh, you mean to turn it off?
Yeah.
Just the push button. So
Just, so the way to turn it off, just pull it up, pull that little red button
If
off.
we decide, now you're not working tomorrow though anyway. You're not working this week.
That is a hilarious book. I've never seen anything.
Should be going,
yourself.
and it should focus itself. So.
Hi!
Hi,
Oh, what a
puppy.
little tiny poodle. She's like a poodle. Yeah. Logan's taking a picture too. Oh, she's like a poodle. A little puppy. Cow. And she's a small
Had enough,
one.
Renna?
I didn't hear
Did you say, did Brenna say cheese?
Look at the tail
She's
between
gonna
the
hide
legs.
it.
How do we stop this now?
And just chaser.
Chaser?
Batman now. I'm Batman.
Poor sad face.
I'm Batman right here.
Well, I sure can't find
You
you.
do look kind of like Batman.
Mom was
More
going.
like Joker though.
My
His
mom was
favorite
going.
suit.
I wonder if Joker mind's wearing Batman underwear. Cool.
So cute.
Are you allergic to them?
Well, Sally was kind of trying to tell me about it. She goes, let's go.
Are you allergic to them, Mom?
That I could only find in Nebraska. I would send you so many. Those little pins that are the.
stupid. Dad, one of the bolts fell off that holds that little hitch on. I just noticed when I was putting on the cover.
The one with the wing nut or the other one?
The one on the trailer side. I think it has a wing nut. I think it was supposed to have a wing nut.
That's good.
I gotta get me another couple of Warren Miller skeet bill pins. I've seen.
Or yet though,
Can you rent them?
Yeah.
butt check.
Yeah.
Don't record this. That's me.
I think these are gonna turn out fun.
You do, huh?
Hey, this works out pretty slick. Yeah. Which way are we going?
We're going that way.
Down the steep way?
I think I'm gonna go down with Joy.
Okay, I wanna go down this way.
Got it, huh? Wonderful, thank you.
Uh-huh. I don't know if I got it when you first went or not. I was going a little too fast to be watching where the camera was going. Huh?
I just sat down.
Got a little slick there.
No, I think it was just too much weight on the uphill ski. Where did...
Dave went with Joy the other way.
Oh, you're still recording? Thank you.
Oh, it's up to you guys.
You gonna take one more?
I'm game for one more.
Let's go one more and we can leave the camera with David.
Well, we can't go again.
Oh, are you going to turn down? Where you go turn?
Go. Da 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 da.
Ready, turn.
Ready, turn.
This isn't working.
Okay, let's go for the jump.
Down.
Going down.
We're going home.
Okay.
This is